Happy Monday, week of Christmas. Hopefully you got all of your holiday shopping taken care of. Maybe you got a couple extra days off of work this week. Holidays always kind of bring about this conversation of should you be dieting through the holidays, and we touched on that in a previous video. So I'll kind of recap a little bit of that for you here. But today's focus inside of this video is why you should not be syncing your workouts or your tracking device into your MyFitnessPal when it comes to tracking your foods. So really quickly, I just want to recap on some strategy for those of you that do desire to eat a little bit cleaner this time of year and or sort of give yourself an allowance, right? So the number one things that we share with the women in our programs that are most successful and have seen transformative changes in their body is to simply eat how you normally would throughout the day and kind of enjoy yourself a little bit more than you normally would at your get-togethers or your parties or your family dinners. There's absolutely nothing wrong with being like 80-20 or 90-10. It's just dependent on where are you relative to your goals, with the understanding that it's actually very healthy and a necessary part of someone's journey to live inside of a calorie surplus at times. We actually encourage the women in our programs to go ahead and enter into that caloric surplus, or what we consider a reverse diet, again, potentially into a small surplus this time of year. And what that does is it just helps to restore any damage that might have taken place inside of being a bit more aggressive during an accelerated fat loss phase. Because what happens in that phase, we also lose some muscle, which slows our metabolism down. It begins to slow down the production of our hormones, which also slows down our metabolism. And so we need to repair that. So that's why this time of year is actually perfect to be in a bit of a surplus. The whole thing is you don't actually know if you're in a deficit or a surplus if you don't track your foods. That's a whole other topic that maybe we'll save for an upcoming video on why you should or should not be tracking and when it's appropriate to take a break from tracking. But again, for purposes of today's video, I want to talk about why you should not be syncing your workouts to your caloric demands inside of MyFitnessPal. If you're a MyFitnessPal user, you will see at the top when you go to log your meals, there's a spot where it says goal calories, a minus, and then the total of the calories that you've consumed or that you've entered thus far on your day. And then it's followed up by a plus sign and the word exercise. And so if you're using that feature where it syncs your workouts from whatever tracking device that you do use into MyFitnessPal, MyFitnessPal is actually suggesting that you should eat back the calories that you've burned. Now there's a number of reasons why I disagree with this. Number one is this could be the reason that you're not making progress towards your body goals. Number two is this actually can add to a poor relationship with foods more so than what already exists in most of us. Most of us have been conditioned and taught to believe that we have to earn back our exercise calories, including the use of MyFitnessPal. Now, this doesn't mean that having an awareness of how many calories you're burning relative to how many calories you're consuming on top of your basal metabolic rate is not something that we should be mindful of. But we should not be looking at food like we have to earn that cookie or that piece of cake or that piece of pizza or drinks with girls on the weekend. You aren't earning those things. Those are just part of living and being human. They don't need to be added into a weight loss calculator or equation. So again, if you are eating back those calories that you're burning, this may actually be the reason that you're not seeing the progress that you'd like to see. And kind of secondary to that is a lot of these tracking devices, they become more accurate the longer that you're using them, but there is a standard deviation of up to 30% where they can be off up to 30% on how many calories it's telling you that you are burning inside of your workout. If you think about that for just a moment, right? Let's say a person is consuming 2,000 calories to be in a 500 calorie deficit relative to entering into a diet phase, right? So if we add back, let's say a person does an hour session in the gym and it says they burn 300 calories. Now you're adding back 300 when your maintenance is 2,500 calories, so you're only in a 200 calorie deficit. You're still gonna make progress. It's going to be much, much slower. So all in all, we just encourage the women in our programs not to sync their devices to their MyFitnessPal tracking. Taking all of that a step further, you should actually be compensating for your exercise activity inside of determining how many calories should you be consuming before you even add a tracking device or any kind of calorie burn metric to what you're doing. Your exercise should have already been accounted for. After hearing all this information, we would highly suggest that you turn that feature off inside of MyFitnessPal if you have been syncing your workouts relative to your nutrition, because again, when you tell MyFitnessPal what your goals are, it should already be compensating for your level of exercise activity. It asks in the beginning, are you sedentary? Are you lightly active, moderately active, etc., etc.? So why are we eating back our calories or being conditioned that that's what we should be doing if our goal is to lose some body fat? So these are the top reasons why we encourage the women inside of our programs not to eat back their calories inside of MyFitnessPal, and why we encourage them to unsync their fitness tracking devices from their MyFitnessPal. We're actually deep diving this topic inside of a live training tonight at 6 p.m. instead of our Nutrition Secrets for Women group on Facebook. We will include the link if you'd like to join us. It will be live streamed into that group, so we will include that link for you in the description below. It costs you nothing to enter the group, costs you nothing to attend this training. We actually do one of these live trainings every single Monday at 6 p.m. unless of course there's some type of special occasion in which we would let you know in advance and most likely have the training on an alternate date. So at this point, we would like to invite you to join us there tonight. Otherwise, we will see you back here next week for more. Thank you so much for tuning in. I don't take at all for granted the fact that you spent a few minutes with me this morning, and I would love, love, love if you continue to do that with me. Every Monday morning, 8 a.m., I will be releasing a new clip on different topics relative to nutrition. Thanks again. I hope you have an amazing week. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays if you don't celebrate Christmas, and of course, Happy New Year.